Elon Musk has detailed all of the equity commitments that he has taken in for his purchase of Twitter. Of course, remember, $54.20,
Honeycomb?
$54.20 a share, some $44 billion. He had a $21.5 billion equity commitment. He also had a $12.5 billion margin loan in addition to $13 billion in straight financing.
Yeah.
He's now raised over $7 billion from investors, and he is going to meaningfully reduce the size of that margin loan. Makes sense.
In this video, Tesla stock implodes along with most of the stock market and over $7 billion of funding secured for Elon Musk's Twitter purchase. As I continue to say, there's rarely a dull moment when it comes to Tesla stock, and today really proves that point. Tesla stock absolutely imploding, down almost $80 per share, over 8% in a single day, closing around $870 per share. Once again, I still believe Tesla stock today is the best value risk-adjusted opportunity in the stock market that I'm aware of. Tesla stock now closer to its 12-month low than it is to its 12-month high, despite stunning execution blowing everyone's expectations away. And for those wondering what the fuck happened to Tesla stock today, honestly, nothing really happened to Tesla stock. Something happened to the stonk market in general. We can see here the Nasdaq 100 getting absolutely creamed, down over 5%. Talk about a bloodbath. One of the rare exceptions to the blood today, however, Twitter stock up almost 3%. More on that in a moment. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you enjoy these videos, there's a bunch of ways you can support the channel, access exclusive content and perks. Check out the links in the pinned comment below. If you want to take it to the next level, join thousands of members on Patreon to gain exclusive access to over 100 Q&A videos, loads of exclusive content, exclusive access to my up-to-date 10-year Tesla stock price targets, and even access my Tesla valuation model at the investor support level and above. You can also pick up some Tesla, Elon, and investment themed merch in the merch store. So check out the links in the pinned comment below, and thanks for your support. First, funding secured. Elon Musk has officially lined up over $7 billion in capital to help with the Twitter deal, meaning that he'll be putting a little less skin in the game. This is very likely to put many Tesla stock investors at ease, and by many, I basically mean a lot of the large funds, who for some reason are petrified of uncertainty.
Some other breaking news that just took place this morning as well. Elon Musk now appears to have lined up $7.2 billion in funding commitments in equity for his bid to buy Twitter.
Geez, I wonder how Elon Musk pulled this off. After all, raising money is pretty hard, right?
Raising $50 million is a matter of making a series of phone calls, and the money is there.
Oh, so it's just a matter of making a series of phone calls and the money's there. Well, seems like Elon Musk's been on the phone in the last couple of days and or weeks and lined up well over $7 billion. It's worth taking a moment to let the implications sink in. Even back in 1999, Elon was explaining that raising capital was simply a matter of making some phone calls. Today, Elon Musk has more than 20 years of additional track record of phenomenal execution and incredible value creation. At this point in time, I imagine if Elon has any future ventures whatsoever, even if they sound completely crazy and ridiculous to most people, if he needs the cash, Elon Musk will be able to raise many, many billions of dollars. The fact that so much big money from individuals as well as entities has been thrown at this deal is telling of how much confidence smart investors have in Elon Musk's abilities.
According to a new SEC filing by Musk that just came out, the filing listing investors who've committed funds to help Musk finance the acquisition. They include Oracle co-founder Larry Ellison as well as Fidelity and Sequoia Capital. The filing also says that Saudi Prince Al Walid will keep his 35 million share stake in Twitter. Elon Musk when he completes that deal. He had previously, if you remember, criticized Musk's bid, saying that it undervalued Twitter.
Way to change your tune. Here's the original comment. Quote, "I don't believe the proposed offer by Elon Musk of $54.20 comes close to the intrinsic value of Twitter, given its growth prospects. Being one of the largest and long-term shareholders of Twitter, Kingdom Holding Company, Saudi investment fund, and I reject this offer." Elon responding, "Interesting. Just two questions, if I may. How much of Twitter does the kingdom own directly and indirectly? And what are the kingdom's views on journalistic freedom of speech?" As I mentioned at the time, absolutely savage response from Elon Musk. No way for this guy to respond without self-immolation. I'm not sure what's going on. I've somehow ended up on a Wikipedia page discussing the assassination of a Saudi dissident, a journalist, a columnist for the Washington Post. Apparently, Jamal was assassinated by agents of the Saudi government at the Saudi consulate in Istanbul in Turkey. Quote, lured to the consulate building on the pretext of providing him papers for his upcoming wedding, Khashoggi was ambushed, suffocated and dismembered by a 15-member squad of Saudi assassins. So I think it's fair to say that the Saudis aren't exactly big proponents of journalistic freedom of speech. In fact, you're allowed to say what you want. We'll just strangle and dismember you if we don't like what you say. Getting back to the Twitter thread here, Alex Barreto chiming in, linking to an article in the New York Times, quote, former Twitter employees charged with spying for Saudi Arabia. This was published back in 2019. Elon Musk responding with a curious emoji. But wait, there's more. Fast forward a couple of weeks, guess who's responding? And has had a major change of tune. Great to connect with you, my new friend, Elon Musk. I believe you will be an excellent leader for Twitter to propel and maximize its great potential. Kingdom Holding Company and I look forward to rolling our almost $2 billion into the new Twitter and join you on this exciting journey. So, why the complete, abrupt and sudden change of tune? Well, I'd love to share my thoughts on this, but I also would prefer not to be chopped up into small pieces and exit a consulate in a suitcase. Therefore, no comment.
There's also a couple of other names in that filing that we got to keep our eyes on as well. I don't know if, but fascinating nonetheless, because what it does do, Becky, is take some of the pressure off of Elon Musk in terms of how much money he's ultimately going to have to put up for this whole thing.
And Tesla shares, too, because it means he's not going to have to sell more Tesla shares to finance this. I'm looking at the list right now. Bamco is on that. That's Barron Capital. So I've reached out to Ron Barron to find out. I think he's got $100 million. Larry Ellison, you mentioned him. He's the biggest. He's up for $1 billion commitment for this.
Larry Ellison's involvement should surprise absolutely no one. He and Elon are bros, they go way back, and Ellison has an incredible amount of trust and faith in Elon Musk, and his stake in Tesla has contributed substantially to his own net worth. Should Elon Musk start any new ventures in the future, Larry Ellison will be among, if not the single biggest backer.
Sequoia, who you mentioned, has a $800 million commitment on some of these things, but it'll be interesting. We reached out to Ron. We'll see if we get a note back from any of those things.
There's a line in the filing, Becky, that seems to suggest that there's still conversations going on around whether Jack Dorsey would roll his stake in. I don't know if you saw that.
I did not see that. I'm just looking at the chart that they put out in the SEC
he said
filing.
Some really positive things. And then we knew Ellison's name has been there all along, right, Anna? Because they're kind of like...
they're tight.
And aligned in the way they view the world to some extent, which is getting close to 54-20 now. Andrew, you were sort of, when it was down at 48, you're like, maybe this still won't happen. I don't know. I think maybe might, but we still got regulatory issues and in Europe as well, right? They're horrified over there, not surprisingly.
Well, they have this new, I think last week was when Europe said that they're going to move forward with all of these restrictions. They've got commitment on this at this point to say that you're going to have to do a lot more. If we tell you on any social media platform that we don't like what you're doing because we think it's threatening democracy, you're going to have to deal with that. So if he does win this bid, it's a global company. He'll have to deal with all of the new regulations.
The way that Europe,
rules.
I don't know if you saw it, the way the European rules work, they can take up to 6% of your revenue annually if they feel that you are not. If you would effectively lose the case. Yeah. But that's what the fine is.
He's not their native son either. You know what I mean? He's one of those ugly Americans that they're jealous of. He's here now, and they got SAP. I guess that's
likely hard to create a bifurcated version of Twitter, meaning I imagine that whatever rules you have to put in place for Europe, and this is what Europe's trying to do everywhere, whatever those rules are, effectively come here. And we saw this with GDPR and other things. So it'll be interesting to see how that changes the dynamic of his interest in Twitter and what he can ultimately do with it.
Dear Europe, please kindly f*** off. Sincerely, the rest of the world. By the way, if you guys don't understand GDPR, for example, every time you load a fucking website now, cookies, this website uses cookies, please click this or that. Thanks, Europe. Thanks. And don't get me wrong, I think it's important people understand how the data is being used, but I also think it's important not to completely fuck everybody in the ass without their consent. Think about the amount of time, aka life, that humanity has cumulatively lost since every goddamn website on the entire fucking internet now has to tell people, hey, this site uses cookies, please consent to this and not this, please, blah, 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 blah. I love me some bureaucracy, red tape, and wasted time.
I want to move on to Twitter because we have some interesting
Twitter's
news.
a cliffhanger.
We have some interesting news. Of course, if you haven't seen it this morning in a filing, Elon Musk has detailed all of the equity commitments that he has taken in for his purchase of Twitter. Of course, remember, $54.20.
Honeycomb?
$54.20 a share, some $44 billion. He had a $21.5 billion equity commitment. He also had a $12.5 billion margin loan in addition to $13 billion in straight financing.
Yeah.
He's now raised over $7 billion from investors, and he is going to meaningfully reduce the size of that margin loan. Makes sense. It's coming from the same place. Remember, it's Tesla stock that backs the margin loan up for the most part.
I think if you made money, yes, Jim.
It's Tesla.
This is a list of people who made money on Tesla.
It's Tesla, and it's Tesla stock that he was selling to actually fulfill his guarantee of raising the money. Now it comes down. He's basically got $27.25 billion in equity that's going in. The margin loan gets reduced to $6.25 billion. What's interesting here, Jim, I got a few things to share in terms of what happened. He handpicked these investors, and it ranges from, $1 billion from Larry Ellison to $5 million from Honeycomb. Which, by the way, is a hedge fund that has invested with him previously in SpaceX back in 2013. I was long ago with that, and in Twitter originally when it was private. But, runs the gamut. Some people wondered this morning, were like, where's Mark Andreessen? I thought he would certainly be there. He is. I believe Capital Management.
Oh,
yeah,
I was going to ask you who was. That was a big one.
That's Andreessen Horowitz Capital Management.
Who is Aliyah Capital Management?
I don't know.
I
don't know. You've also got Bin Talal, Prince Al Waleed.
Yeah, he's in.
With $35 million.
But don't you think this is a motley crew of people?
And you may have Jack Dorsey rolling in.
Really?
Well, in addition,
where's Mark Benioff?
They are talking to Jack Dorsey about the possibility of contributing his shares of common to parent at immediately or prior to the closing of the merger. Now, let me give you a couple of things. He did presentation. He did a live video presentation. To groups. Morgan Stanley kind of set it up, but he did it. He handpicked who he wanted in, is my understanding.
I mean, there were more people who wanted in, and he didn't.
I'm not sure that that's the case. I did get the sense that this is over, that he's not going to go beyond the $7 billion in additional equity that he had originally been targeting only between 2 and 4, but opened it up to be as large as 7. Now, with Musk, and especially with my reporting, sometimes you do start to wonder, well, we'll see, because it can change. But that is my understanding.
Well, what did he show them? What did he show them?
He showed them.
How about the pay tweet thing?
Here's some of the things. They have a 29% EBITDA margin, which is way too low in his opinion.
Well, it's been. Their margin's been.
They've got 7,000 software engineers.
Every quarter the margin.
And it seems as though
7,000.
That's the number I was given from somebody who listened to the presentation.
7,000.
I think Kramer's response sums this one up perfectly. 7,000 software engineers. The question is, what the actual have they all been doing, other than not much? Serious question, by the way. My best guess is that about 69% of these software engineers are not really software engineers in the conventional sense, but instead dial tweakers for the algorithm to obscure and demote certain content and to heavily promote other content that definitely has nothing whatsoever to do with any of their political biases. I really cannot for the life of me understand how there's 7,000 software engineers working at Twitter. Like, for real, dude. In my opinion, it seems like there's probably 4,000, 5,000 or 6,000 too many. Great way to increase Twitter's profitability is get rid of all the dead weight, and there seems to be many metric tons of dead weight. Speaking of Twitter's dead weight and the potential that many of the useless software engineers currently employed by Twitter are actually not software engineers in the traditional sense, but fact checkers, censors, promoters and demoters of certain content, opinions and ideas. And bear with me here, I am going to get a little conspiratorial, so not saying anything is happening, I just want to point out something interesting. Since Elon Musk's acquisition of Twitter, I've started paying a little bit more attention to what's happening on my own account in terms of followers and interactions, etc., as well as others. Something very strange happened yesterday, in fact. In the last 24 or 48 hours, I've posted a few comments suggesting that Twitter have been doing some things that haven't exactly been great, like fucking up enormously and censoring legitimate posts and articles about things that are actually true that no doubt had enormous impact on, say, for example, the recent presidential election. Oops! Shared a clip from Bill Maher, who recently raised a lot of valid points, suggesting that Twitter had done a terrible job of doing their job and they need a new sheriff. I also made this tweet, and I'm going to quote this one. Sawyer Merritt sharing that Elon Musk may be closing in on raising around $10 billion in cash from equity co-investors. We now know this is done, over $7 billion. My jestful tweet, quote, looking forward to Twitter banning this New York Post article any moment now, hashtag there is no laptop. Two very critical tweets about Twitter and their censorship and their major fuck-ups in said area of suppressing factual information within about a 24-hour period. And then, as I mentioned, I've been recently paying attention to these stats I never used to. This is my Twitter account and the number of followers per day. You'll notice something every single day, a few hundred, maybe a little bit more in terms of followers. The average for the month, about 400 new followers per day. Impressively, perhaps even incredibly, I lost 4 followers in a single day. Now, again, I don't really pay attention to this stuff, so I'm not sure. This may have happened in the past on my account, but it seems a little bit strange that the day that I start shitting on Twitter, very directly on Twitter, suddenly there's no growth on my account in terms of followers. Now, it could be that I offended a few butthurt babies and they unfollowed me, and that's fine, the less the better, but I just want to point this out. It's certainly possible that maybe I've caused somebody's sphincter to contract over at Twitter and I'm in the naughty corner. Of course, I'm sure this is just a gigantic coincidence. Twitter seems to be a place for coincidences. Almost every single instance of a deplatforming, banning, demoting, suppression of information, strangely all skewing in a single direction politically speaking. I wonder why that might be. I'm just kidding. It's a coincidence. Don't think about that anymore. Let's move on.
Correct. And he believes that some of the code is subpar and that under him they will be a magnet for talent and that they have too many engineers not doing enough and that it can be a double over the next 3 years. I mean, this is a man who built $1 trillion company in Tesla without any marketing. Kind of amazing, isn't it? And so that's part of his pitch.
Airbnb has fewer people than they had 3 years ago, and they're killing it.
Apparently, he has told people he'll be CEO for a short amount of time after close.
Now, this is really big news, although it's not entirely surprising, but we have confirmation, at least we've heard, that Elon Musk has been telling investors that he intends to temporarily serve as Twitter's new CEO until a replacement is found. There's definitely a possibility that a few Tesla stock investors, especially institutional investors, are going to shit the bed about this one. Oh my God, it's going to be distracted, and sell their Tesla stock. Only time will tell.
And then pick somebody to
kind of like Howard Schultz.
Yeah, maybe interim.
Maybe we'll get Kevin Johnson. All right, so let's go over some of these because this is a parlor game that everybody wants us to play. Brookfield.
Yeah.
Right here.
Yeah, they've been very
smart
aggressive.
Guys.
It's their fund. It's not right. It's
no,
not
but I'm saying they're very smart. You want to invest with Brookfield. Finance. Just taking a flyer?
I don't know. I mean, so, to me, the names that stand out are Sequoia. Sequoia at $800 million. That's an important investor. Listen, he wanted outside investors. Now, he may have wanted them in part to take down his overall commitment, but he also
Where's Michael Dell? Where's Dell Ventures?
I don't see it.
I don't either. I see Ellison.
Yes. Why did you expect that Dell would be there? Did you hear that was a possibility? I didn't.
No, I'm looking for really smart people who have a lot of
money.
Mark
Andreessen,
He's
Sequoia,
smart.
Larry Ellison.
Well, that
doesn't get your attention?
I was thinking Michael Dell, smart guy, is good. Wait.
I'm naming people. Every smart guy?
Well, never mind.
Never mind? Okay, never mind.
No, I'm just saying that, like, it's a crew of people that I would have expected to put a lot more money in. And if it's handpicked, then I get that.
Well, and if it was maybe it may very well be, originally I'm told he was only looking for 2 to 4, and he went up to 7, and that may be where he's comfortable and doesn't want to expand beyond. And he decided who he wants to be in there.
No, I'm just saying, Jim, David, this is not the list that I would put together for a big deal.
David makes a lot of fair points there. My suspicion, too, is that Elon Musk had the luxury of enormous, tens upon tens of billions of dollars chasing this deal, wanting in, Elon able to handpick and say, nah, you're in, you're out, is what it is. This is a position of strength. Now, the other question I want to ask, how many $44 billion deals has Jim Cramer put together in his illustrious career? Given that he's got such strong opinions on who he would put together to do a deal like this. Let me know in the comments below. And I don't mean the $44 billion of cocaine he's personally consumed over his career. Allegedly, in my opinion, during research, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, it's looking like this Twitter deal now about a 99.42069% chance of going through. I think many institutional investors will be put at ease by the fact that Elon Musk now has many outside investors. Less margin pledged against his Tesla stock. There's also the possibility that many big investors will freak the fuck out at the very idea of Elon Musk being CEO of 3 multi-billion-dollar companies simultaneously: SpaceX, Tesla, and Twitter. Only time will tell. Who do you think the new permanent Twitter CEO will be? Let me know in the comments below. And who's looking forward to this deal finally closing so we can stop talking about Twitter and get back to Tesla? And finally, don't forget to join the growing community over at Patreon with the card in the corner or the link at the pinned comment. Recently updated my Tesla stock price targets all the way out to 2032, bear case, base case, bull case, and hyper bull case. And that also includes a massive update to my Tesla valuation model. It's well over 100 exclusive videos, loads of other perks as well. So I'll see you guys over there. I'm Stephen Mark Ryan. This is Solving the Money Problem, and I love you all. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you enjoy these videos, there's a bunch of ways you can support the channel, access exclusive content and perks, and get some free stocks and crypto. Check out the links in the pinned comment below. You can also pick up some Tesla, Elon, and investment themed merch in the merch store. If you want to take it to the next level, join thousands of members on Patreon to gain exclusive access to over 100 Q&A videos, loads of exclusive content, exclusive access to my up-to-date 10-year Tesla stock price targets, and even access my Tesla valuation model at the investor support level and above. So check out the links in the pinned comment below, and thanks for your support. And if you're still watching, you're awesome. I read every single comment on this channel and I really appreciate your feedback. So if you've got any thoughts on today's video, questions, comments, or suggestions for a new video, let me know in the comments below. Check the cards on screen now to browse the merch store, join Patreon, or watch the next video.